Hello and welcome. And before I get started here, I just wanted to make you aware that I did not get a lot of sleep last night. So I'm a little bit low energy, but I'm just going to try to do my best for you here. So today's talk is on the secrets of consistency. Now, if you know me pretty well, then you know that I don't use the word secrets very often. But my motto on that is they're only secrets if you don't know them. So I've got some secrets. And I'm pretty sure you might not have heard it this way before. There's a really good chance you haven't heard it presented this way. So we're going to talk about consistency. All right. So we're going to talk about what is it? Maybe a different way to frame it. We're going to talk about how to manage it so that people get the effect that they're looking for. Because ultimately, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to give people the effect that they're looking for. So, but we also want to avoid failure. We want to avoid repeated failure. We want to avoid frustration and anxiety and all that stuff, all the negativity, right? So think about it for a second, because this is one of the most commonly used words in tennis play among players. They'll berate each other for not being consistent enough, and they'll berate for themselves for wishing they could be more consistent. It's very common that in the first meeting that I get with somebody, that it's really okay. Here are two things, very interesting things. All right. When I have a first lesson with somebody that's 3-0 and above, oftentimes they will come to me and say, I want to work on my consistency. But below that, 2-5 and below, they haven't learned the word yet. Interesting. So somewhere around 3-0, somebody told them they should be more consistent. Okay, interesting. So here's a rhetorical question. When was the last time you heard someone say they were happy with their consistency? And I'm guessing that it was very infrequent, and quite possibly most of you have never heard anyone say they were happy with their consistency. So what does that mean? It means maybe we need to reframe how we talk about it. Because I know for myself and for many of my players that when we reframe it and we say, all right, what is consistency? Have you ever been happy with your consistency? The answer is no. So what you're doing is you're signing yourself up for misery. Because here's what people do. They build it up in their minds, and then what happens is every time they miss a shot, that's evidence of a lack of consistency. So that's a problem. So they create this incredibly high standard for what they will find acceptable. So that incredibly high standard is a real problem. So when I'm talking to people, I go, okay, well, look, I'm not going to work with you on your consistency. And the reason is because I don't want you to be miserable. All right. Because I've never heard anyone ever say they were happy with their consistency. All they ever want to do is work on it. So instead, how about this? What if we focus on getting you to make more shots? How about if we get you to make more shots in a row? How about if we get you to hit more shots where you want to hit them? How about if we help you to set up plays on the court where you have shot combinations? First you hit this shot, then you hit that shot. How about if we help you to understand the risk-reward ratio? I mean, because even if you look at the most consistent players of all time, I mean, I think the fewest unforced errors I've ever heard of in a match that I've actually seen with my eyes is 3. I don't know that I've ever seen a match myself paying full attention to it where there were 0 errors in a set. People have played golden sets before where you win every single point. It's happened. It has happened, right? But very rarely. So I remember a friend of mine played Agassi, Sampras, and Chang in the juniors, and he said he lost to Sampras 7-5, 6-4, and then he lost to Agassi like 2-1. But when he played Chang, he only won 3 points because Chang double faulted one time and then missed lines by that much twice. So those were the 3 points that he won. Anyway, but I digress. So let's shift our focus to what it actually takes to win a tennis match, because what you want to do is be able to put the ball here and put the ball there. And so the more you go for, then the higher reward there is, but you don't want to make too many errors because then you're violating the risk-reward ratio. So, I mean, if you're ever going to go for a first serve, then, when you really hit a first serve as hard as you can, you will have a lower serve percentage on those serves than when you spin it in. Hello, right? So what are you going to do? Never go for a serve in your life? I don't think so. If you're going to come to the net, and you're going to win 63% of the points, which is average, 63% of the points on the average net approach, then some of those will be an error on an approach shot. Some of those will be an error on a volley. So there's a little bit of risk-reward ratio there. But if you are obsessed with consistency, then you'll have 0 tolerance for approach shots that go wide or long by a foot. You'll have 0 tolerance for a volley error. But in reality, here's what actually happens when you come to the net. The most common thing that happens is the opponent misses the passing shot. That is the most common thing that happens. So what you're doing is you're not hitting a winner. You're not making an error. They're making an error. The second most common thing that happens is that you might make an error with your volley. The third most common thing that will happen is that you will hit a winner with your volley. And the fourth most common thing that will happen is they will hit a winner with their passing shot. So this is all of the numbers together. Of course, any particular match could be different. But what we need to do is teach consistency a different way. We need to teach it in relation to, what do you need to do? What is it for you? Do you need to make more shots total? Do you need to be able to make more shots in a row? Do you need to be able to hit targets on a court? Do you need to be able to hit the ball here and there? So dig into it, be more specific, be more clear about what you're actually trying to achieve, because just using the word consistency is vague, and it leads to anxiety, neurosis, expectations that are unreasonable and unachievable. And bottom line, it just doesn't make anybody happy. It won't make them happy. Just yesterday, I was on the court with the lieutenant colonel, and the lieutenant colonel was trying to hit shots to my forehand volley, and the lieutenant colonel was failing often. So they felt all sorts of pressure. As soon as they got 2 in a row to go to my volley, then they felt all sorts of pressure. Couldn't get the third one. So we worked on it. We had to develop the ability, and then in a little while, she was able to do 4 out of 5, and then she was able to do 6 out of 7, and then I was like, well, okay, now is there any reason why you can't do 5 in a row? And it just took a little time on task, a little concentration, right? And now she has confidence that she can hit her forehand to a small target area that she wants. Because the other thing would be just vague. I mean, she told me as we were concluding the lesson that when she was playing before, she was just hoping to make forehands in the court. And see, that's another weakness of using the word consistency, is there's this sort of this vague standard. I mean, it's just any forehand that's in is a consistent forehand, and any forehand that's out is an inconsistent forehand, even though, you might be hitting really nice depth cross court and 95% of them are hurting or the opponent or pushing them back or even a winner, but 1 out of 20 goes a foot long, right? And I don't know how many times I've been working with a really offensively talented junior, and we get their ground strokes just really pummeling their ground strokes, and they can be very offensive, very much creating a lot of good things. And then they go play a match and they miss 2 forehands in short order, and then they just shrink back and they go completely non-aggressive because somebody told them they needed to be more consistent. I had this one dad who kept telling his son to be more consistent, but the kid had a huge forehand and he could hit missiles on it, and he was going to have a really nice ratio of winners and forcing the opponent to make errors compared to his own unforced errors. Dad couldn't get his head around it. So later, that junior ended up playing on a team that was playing against my high school that I was coaching. So I coached him privately, and then he played at another school. So my kid's playing him, and the other kid gets off to a hot start, is like rockets out to like 4-1-2 breaks, boom, 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 boom. 4-1, I bring my guy over and I'm like, hey, just slice him a couple times. As soon as he misses his forehand twice, he's going to go non-aggressive. So just slice him a little, change pace a little bit, get him out of his rhythm. And it happened. I mean, I forget if my guy won that one in straight sets. I think he might have. I forget all the details of that match. But, it might have been straight sets. I mean, I think he might have actually won that match like 7-5 or a tiebreaker in the first and like 6-2 in the second going away because it's too bad, right? I mean, if you're naturally built to play a very offensive game, then you have to play a little bit more risk. I mean, look at Federer. Look at how many balls Federer will mishit, in a match. I mean, he'll completely shank 1 or 2 balls, and he just walks away like it's nothing. So anyway, bottom line, work with people, get them to not obsess so much about missing, except that they want to take note of how they're missing and learn how to do it, learn how to make the shot. And work with people on being able to make more shots in a row, work with people on being able to hit to targets on the court, work with them on having shot combinations. And bottom line, help them to understand risk-reward ratio. Because even when you're playing the safest possible shot you possibly can, you're still going to miss 1 in 20 shots. What are you going to do? You're going to beat yourself up every time. All right. So that's it for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to be, I have some important things to do today, but I'm going to get a nap because I did not sleep. I already talked about that. I didn't get much sleep last night. All right. So remember gratitude, right? So if you're really enjoying the content here, the book will be coming out shortly. I'm already editing a lot. I just realized that I had left a chapter out on this particular topic. I might come back and remember another thing that must go in the Tennis Strategy 101 book. That'll be out by the end of the month. So use your social digital currency. So take your finger and go like, subscribe, bell notifications if you're on YouTube, and share it with people. If they're people you like or even people you don't like, just share it with them. I mean, if you hate this and you have somebody you don't like, share it with somebody you don't like. It's going to make them crazy. All right? That'll be fun. And then, if you feel like it, if you want to, you can buy me coffee. I would appreciate it. So thank you, those of you who've bought me coffee, and it's happened. I love it, Derek Emmerich is somebody who's bought me coffee before. So thank you, Derek. And spend your social digital currency on the people that you like with the stuff that you like. So share their stuff out, help grow the game. Because this stuff does make a difference. People watch it, and it's increasing. And the good stuff, the more you promote the good stuff, then the more the dumb stuff goes away. All right? So that's it for today.